You wake up believing you are the author of your day. You believe your thoughts are yours. Your reactions are yours. Your decisions are yours. Yet long before you speak, choose, or act, something older has already moved. Your hand reaches for your phone before you are fully awake. A single notification changes your mood. A memory from years ago resurfaces without permission. Your body tightens at a name on the screen. None of this was planned. None of it feels forced. But it was triggered. You replay an embarrassing moment from 5 years ago as if it happened yesterday. You avoid someone and invent a logical reason for it. You hesitate right before sending an important message. You argue harder when you feel cornered, even when part of you knows you're wrong. The reaction happens first. The explanation comes later. The mind does not wait for permission. It scans, calculates, predicts, and reacts in silence. It measures status in a room before you consciously notice who is there. It detects threat in a tone of voice before you understand why your chest tightened. It prepares defense before you realize you feel attacked. Control is an illusion maintained by narrative. After the reaction, the brain constructs a story to justify it. You call it preference. You call it instinct. You call it personality. Beneath those words lies conditioning, survival wiring, and patterns carved over years. Most behavior is not deliberate. It is automatic. It is efficient. It is protective. The system was built to keep you safe, not to make you self-aware. Safety moves faster than reflection. Fear outruns logic every time. The unsettling reality is that much of your life unfolds before you ever decide. Thoughts rise uninvited, emotions surge without warning, actions follow currents you never see. And until you understand those currents, they continue to steer you. The human brain was not designed for fulfillment. It was designed for survival. Long before comfort, ambition, or self-expression existed, the nervous system evolved to detect threat and eliminate risk. Safety became priority. Everything else became secondary. In ancient environments, rejection from the tribe meant vulnerability. Vulnerability meant exposure. Exposure meant death. That wiring never disappeared. Today, exclusion does not kill the body, but the brain still reacts as if it might. A cold tone, a delayed reply, a room that feels socially tense. The nervous system responds with urgency. This is why embarrassment feels sharp and physical. This is why public failure feels catastrophic. This is why criticism echoes long after it is spoken. The brain interprets social danger through the same pathways it once used for physical danger. It does not distinguish between a predator in the wild and humiliation in a crowd. Both activate alarm. Fear always moves faster than logic. The emotional centers of the brain fire before the rational centers can interpret what is happening. By the time reason arrives, the body has already reacted. The heart rate shifts, muscles tense, thoughts narrow, defense prepares, ambition challenges safety, growth requires uncertainty. Visibility increases scrutiny. Success invites evaluation. From a survival perspective, standing out can be dangerous. Blending in feels safer. Remaining small feels controlled. Risk feels threatening even when it promises reward. This is why procrastination appears at the edge of opportunity. This is why self-doubt grows louder when progress accelerates. The brain prefers predictable discomfort over unpredictable exposure. Stability over expansion. Familiar pain over unfamiliar risk. The survival system is efficient, relentless, and invisible. It does not ask whether you want to grow. It asks whether you are safe. And when growth threatens safety, the system intervenes quietly, guiding you back toward what feels known. The ego is not arrogance. It is not loud confidence or visible pride. It is the internal structure that protects your sense of identity. It guards the story you tell yourself about who you are, what you believe, and where you stand in the world. And it defends that story with intensity. When someone criticizes you, the reaction feels immediate. The chest tightens. The mind begins constructing counter-arguments before the other person finishes speaking. The discomfort is not about being correct or incorrect. It is about threat. Identity is fragile because it is constructed. Intelligence, morality, political beliefs, competence, attractiveness, social status. These become pillars of self-definition. When one pillar is questioned, the system activates defense. The brain interprets contradiction as danger, and the ego steps forward as a shield. This is why admitting fault feels humiliating. This is why losing an argument feels heavier than it should. This is why people double down even when evidence is clear. The ego prioritizes preservation over truth, protection over growth. It would rather maintain consistency than confront uncertainty. Arguments are rarely about facts. They are about identity. When two people debate, it is often two egos negotiating survival. Each side seeks dominance, validation, or security. The louder the defense, the deeper the attachment. The ego also edits perception. It magnifies compliments and softens failures. It justifies questionable behavior and reframes mistakes as external interference. It constructs narratives that maintain coherence. It ensures you remain the protagonist, rarely the antagonist. But the bodyguard does not know when to stand down. It protects even when protection is unnecessary. It resists change because change threatens the version of you it has been guarding for years. And so growth becomes conflict. Reflection becomes uncomfortable. Transformation becomes resistance. The ego is not your enemy. It was built to keep you intact. Yet when protection becomes constant, it quietly limits expansion. It defends the cage while convincing you it is freedom. Every room contains an invisible hierarchy. It forms within seconds. No announcement is made, no structure is declared, yet positions are silently assigned. The brain scans posture, tone, eye contact, clothing, confidence, and social cues before a single meaningful word is exchanged. Conversations are rarely neutral exchanges of information. They are negotiations of rank. Who speaks first? Who interrupts? Who holds eye contact? Who commands attention without raising their voice? Even silence can dominate when delivered with certainty. The nervous system reads these signals automatically. Discomfort around certain individuals is often misinterpreted as dislike. In reality, it is often perceived status imbalance. When someone appears more confident, more composed, or more socially valued, the brain registers comparison. Comparison activates evaluation. Evaluation activates threat. This is why some people shrink in certain environments. The shoulders tighten, the voice softens, words become filtered. The body unconsciously signals submission to reduce perceived conflict. The shift happens without instruction. It is instinctive, ancient, efficient. Dominance is not always loud. It can be calm, it can be measured. Those who move slowly, speak deliberately, and show little emotional reactivity often appear powerful. The brain associates composure with control. Control implies safety. Safety attracts attention. Interruptions are not random. Over-explaining is not random. Nervous laughter is not random. Each behavior signals positioning within the invisible ladder. Some compete overtly. Others withdraw strategically. Most are unaware they are participating at all. Social life is layered with subtle signals that shape perception. Micro-expressions flash before words align. Tone communicates more than vocabulary. Confidence alters interpretation of identical sentences. The hierarchy shifts constantly, recalibrated by reactions, approval, and resistance. Beneath politeness and civility, the silent war continues. Not violent, not obvious, but constant. The brain seeks reassurance of its standing. It measures safety through status. And when status feels threatened, behavior adjusts instantly to restore balance. Validation is a modern currency, traded constantly and consumed quietly. A small notification lights up the screen and the nervous system responds before the mind can interpret it. A compliment lingers longer than logic. Silence from someone important feels heavier than it should. Approval activates reward pathways deep in the brain. Recognition signals acceptance. Acceptance signals belonging. And belonging has always meant safety. The system releases relief, even pleasure, when it senses approval from others. The reaction is subtle but powerful enough to shape behavior repeatedly. This is why people check their phones without awareness, why posts are edited carefully, why captions are rewritten, why certain opinions are softened depending on the audience. Image management becomes habitual. Presentation becomes strategic. The goal is not always attention, it is reassurance. Intermittent approval strengthens the cycle. When validation arrives unpredictably, it becomes more addictive. A delayed response feels like uncertainty. Uncertainty fuels obsession. The mind replays interactions, searching for signs of acceptance or rejection. The body waits for relief. Entire identities can form around being liked, admired, or needed. Humor becomes armor. Kindness becomes performance. Achievement becomes proof of worth. The external response begins to dictate internal stability. When praise is present, confidence rises. When it disappears, doubt expands. Being ignored activates ancient alarms. The absence of feedback feels like exclusion. The system struggles to tolerate ambiguity. It would rather receive criticism than silence because at least criticism confirms existence. Silence feels like erasure. The pursuit of validation rarely announces itself. It disguises itself as ambition, charm, or productivity. Yet beneath it lies a simple desire, confirmation that one matters. When that confirmation becomes external and inconsistent, the cycle intensifies. The danger is subtle. When approval becomes necessary for equilibrium, autonomy weakens. Decisions begin orbiting perception. Authenticity bends toward acceptance. And the need for reassurance quietly takes control of direction. Opportunity approaches and suddenly hesitation appears. The plan that felt clear becomes complicated. The message that needed to be sent remains unsent. The project that carried momentum begins to slow. Logic provides reasons, timing feels imperfect. Preparation feels incomplete. Beneath the surface, something else is operating. Growth increases visibility. Visibility invites evaluation. Evaluation creates exposure. The survival system interprets exposure as risk. Success does not only bring reward, it brings scrutiny, expectation, and responsibility. For a brain wired to prioritize safety, that combination can feel dangerous. Procrastination is rarely laziness, it is often protection. Delaying action preserves identity. If you never fully commit, you never fully fail. Potential remains intact. The story of "I could have" survives untouched. Risking effort threatens the narrative you have built about yourself. Self-sabotage often appears just before progress solidifies. Arguments erupt in stable relationships. Deadlines are missed when recognition is near. Habits collapse after consistent improvement. The system senses change and intervenes. Familiar discomfort feels safer than unfamiliar expansion. Fear disguises itself as practicality. You tell yourself the market is uncertain, the timing is wrong, the relationship is flawed, The environment is unstable. The reasoning feels rational because the mind excels at constructing justification. It prefers a believable excuse over confronting vulnerability. Remaining in known pain offers predictability. Predictability feels controlled. Controlled feels safe. Even toxic environments can become comforting when they are familiar. The nervous system adapts to patterns, even harmful ones, and resists disruption. Imposter feelings intensify when success grows. Being seen exposes perceived inadequacy. The internal critic becomes louder as external recognition increases. Retreat begins to feel relieving. Shrinking appears strategic. Avoidance feels wise. Self-sabotage is not self-hatred, it is misdirected protection. The system attempts to shield you from perceived threat, even if that threat is growth itself. Until fear is recognized beneath the logic, the pattern repeats with precision. Attraction feels spontaneous, almost magical. Chemistry ignites without instruction. Certain personalities draw you in with intensity while others leave you unmoved. The experience feels like choice. Beneath the surface, it is often recognition. The nervous system is drawn to what feels familiar. Familiar does not always mean healthy, it means known. Early emotional environments shape internal templates of connection. The tone of love, the rhythm of conflict, the presence or absence of attention. These become imprinted as normal. Calm can feel unfamiliar to a system raised in unpredictability. Stability can feel dull when chaos was once constant. Emotional distance can feel intriguing when closeness once felt inconsistent. The body does not evaluate health first, it evaluates recognition. Intensity is often mistaken for depth. Emotional highs and lows create powerful chemical surges. The unpredictability of attention strengthens attachment. When affection is inconsistent, the reward feels amplified when it appears. The brain bonds through contrast. Repeated relationship patterns rarely announce themselves clearly. The same arguments, the same withdrawal, the same pursuit, the same imbalance. Each new person appears different, yet the dynamic remains similar. The pattern persists because the underlying template remains unchanged. Familiar pain can feel safer than unfamiliar peace. The nervous system knows how to navigate tension it has experienced before. It anticipates the rhythm. It prepares for impact. Predictable hurt can feel more manageable than unknown vulnerability. The mind tells stories about compatibility, fate, or timing. Beneath those stories lies conditioning. Attraction is influenced by unresolved emotion, unfinished patterns, and the quiet search for what feels recognizable. Until awareness interrupts the cycle, familiarity continues to masquerade as destiny. And what feels like passion may simply be the nervous system returning to what it has always known. The patterns described do not operate in darkness because they are evil. They operate in darkness because they are efficient. Automation conserves energy. Instinct reacts faster than reflection. The system was built to protect, not to reveal itself. Most people live entire lives inside these patterns without ever noticing the architecture beneath them. Awareness disrupts automation. The moment a reaction is observed, a space appears between impulse and action. That space is small, but it changes everything. A defensive response can be paused, a familiar attraction can be examined. A surge of validation seeking can be recognized before it dictates behavior. The ego resists exposure because exposure weakens its grip. Survival wiring resists uncertainty because uncertainty threatens comfort. Growth requires confronting mechanisms that once ensured safety. This confrontation feels uncomfortable because it challenges identity itself. Power is not domination over others. It is regulation over oneself. It is the ability to notice the tightening chest before the argument escalates. It is the discipline to act despite fear disguised as logic. It is the clarity to separate familiarity from health. Most people protect their programming. They defend their reactions. They justify their patterns. Remaining unconscious feels easier than dismantling internal structures that have existed for years. But ease preserves repetition. Understanding the machinery does not eliminate it. The survival system remains. The ego remains. The need for belonging remains. What changes is authorship. Reactions become visible. Choices become intentional. Patterns lose their invisibility. The script does not vanish overnight. It weakens each time it is recognized. And in that recognition, control slowly shifts. Not because the mind stops protecting you, but because you finally see what has been steering you all along. If this awareness unsettles you, that is the beginning. Stay with it. The deeper layers of human behavior run further than most are willing to look. And the next layer is even more revealing.